As we head into the home stretch of 2013, it's time to think about some year-end tax and investment planning. Joining me to talk business is Chad Carlson, Senior Vice President with Delta Trust Investments. Welcome back to the program.
Thank you, Roby.
Good for you to be with us.
Good to be here.
Let's talk about what some people need to keep in mind. I mean, if you're maybe in your retirement years, headed into your retirement years, planning for your retirement years, what's maybe one of the first 2 or 3 things you ought to think about as we kind of get near December 31st?
Well, there are a few different things in a few different categories, and one of the things we like to use is a checklist. And so we pull a checklist out just like a physician would or an airline pilot would. So we just go right down a checklist. So a few of the things that are on our list. First, make sure that you're maxing out your 401k and also IRAs. That's number one. Another one would be if you're self-employed, consider opening a SEP IRA or an individual 401k. You can do that before the end of the year. Even a 401k, you can still get in the line here. So those are good starters on the investment front.
Let's talk about maybe taxes, some things that some folks should think about too, because there are some things that are going to expire.
There are.
This year? Yeah.
There are.
Right.
So it's a great time to review your portfolio, especially those that aren't in retirement accounts, so non-tax advantaged accounts. So take a look at where you have gains, where you may have losses. It's been a great year for stocks.
It has been. There shouldn't be too many on the loss side.
That's right.
There, so.
However, a lot of investors have bond mutual funds, have bonds and bond mutual funds. The Barclays 10-year corporate is off about 5% or so, and the long bonds are down about 8%. So there are probably some losses in investor portfolios. So now's a great time to look at that. You may want to take advantage of selling those, rebalancing. It's an individual decision to make, but a good one to look at right now. Another thing for any investors that are over 70 and a half, remember they have to take required minimum distributions. A great way, sometimes that just complicates the tax situation. May want to consider taking advantage of a charitable distribution, a qualified charitable distribution, and giving that RMD, that required mandatory distribution, directly to a charity. So it benefits the charity.
You get the tax write-off.
Gives you the tax break. It's a nice thing. And now that's going to expire, scheduled to expire on 12/31. So this is your last year to do it. So take advantage.
Is there a cap on how much you can give?
$100,000.
Okay.
But talk to your CPA because I'm not the tax advisor.
All right. Do you find when you're talking to some of your clients, I mean, is this something that you guys do annually? Is this something that your clients are kind of primed to do annually, or do you kind of have to poke them a little bit with the stick, or is it a every 5-year kind of thing? Or?
We like to do regular reviews, but of course at the end of the year, because so many tax implications are timed on the calendar year. Now is a great time to do that. We try to be proactive. Again, we share a checklist, and then we do some year-end meetings. But I think it's one of those things you want to be looking at all the time.
What if you're, and I'm not there yet, but what if you're heading towards the age of 65? What if you're kind of getting to where there's a couple of age limits that are going to kick in that are things that you need to be thinking about? What do you advise on that?
Well, when you turn 65, one of the primary things you have to do is sign up for Medicare. So if you're turning 65 in 2014, go on and mark that on your calendar now. You don't want to miss that. That's important.
Do you tell them Medicare A or Medicare A and B, or do you give them advice on that? Because I've had a relative where we've had to deal with Medicare D, and if you don't have B already, you can't get D. So, I mean, I've always advised everyone, if you're going to get for Medicare A, go Medicare B too. But.
Well, it's important to look at what type of benefits you have, what coverage you might have if you're still employed, and again, it's a case-by-case decision.
Yeah. All right. Any final advice you give anyone here, to last notes to think about?
Well, you think about eating that Thanksgiving turkey here recently, and then you sit and you watch the football game. You're going to get another great opportunity with your family coming up here in just a couple of weeks and getting together for the holidays. It's a great opportunity to be intentional. Think about that time at the dinner table, and it's an opportunity for mom and dad to say, "Kids, we love you and we care about you." And as a part of that, we've updated our estate plan. We have life insurance in place. We've made decisions and we've planned so that long-term care costs, we're taking care of that. You don't have to. And that's a real way to say I love you to the children. And so we're encouraging families, have those conversations, be intentional over the holidays, and you can watch the football game after that, but make sure you take advantage of that.
All right, he's Chad Carlson. He's a Senior Vice President with Delta Trust Investments. Thanks so much. Good advice. We'll have this online if people want to review it. I appreciate you.
Great. Thanks, Roby.
All right.